love horror, there's probably something in here for you, you know, depending on what category you like, because he's put every category in there. Demons, demonic possessions, satanic imagery, a house in the woods, ghost towns, creepy old people. Only thing that's missing is a creepy clown. And I'm sure he was in the background somewhere behind one of them trees looking.
Am I up yet?
Yeah.
There's just no room for me in this thing.
Yeah, get back. We ain't called you yet. All right, Mark, stop me. You heard this one, okay? But you got some paranormal ghost chasers out there wandering the woods where they shouldn't be. End up missing because they shouldn't have had their asses out there in the first place.
They always think they're smarter than they actually are.
Yep. And then they end up missing. Only trace left of them is a camcorder and one lone tape that shows the last time they were seen. No, they were not looking for the Blair Witch, Martin. There's a whole different group of dumbasses out there. They weren't looking for the Blair Witch. These are a new Scooby-Doo team called the Paranormal Paranoids out there. Yeah, they went out in the woods once too many times and ended up missing.
It was inevitable.
Yeah. Well, they were all found dead, except for one person, and that is Riley. Riley's then they go hunting ghosts and doing shit they shouldn't be doing. Look at them, boy. They are not Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo and the gang would be. They said, man, we would have solved this case by now.
Well, see, they don't have a Fred Jones who can set up traps.
That are talking dogs.
Yeah, that either.
Y'all need a pothead and a talking dog. That's what was missing. But yeah, there was one girl. There it is, Riley. Justice for Riley. Riley's the only one that wasn't found dead. And a lot of people are thinking like, okay, all right, this is YouTube. One of y'all is still out there. Y'all are faking y'all's death, and she's going to come out and reveal that this was one big marketing scheme or hoax or whatever. But one person that knows different is Riley's sister, Mia. I think that's Mia right there. I can't tell. We're going to say that's Mia anyway. But Mia, the sister, she says, listen, I know she's out there. And since y'all think she's bullshitting, and including the police, she's like, ain't nobody on my side. So I'm just going to pack up everything and go out there by myself and search for my sister.
I'm going to find my sister.
I'm going to find, y'all won't do nothing fun. I'll do it myself in the dark. Will she find her sister? And will she find a few other ominous things that she did not expect? Let's go ahead and watch this directorial debut from my man over here. Let me go ahead and put his picture up and congratulate him on his first motion picture, his directorial debut. We're talking about Chris Stuckmann, Shelby Oaks. Good old Shelby Oaks, man. That sounds like a projects I used to live in. It sounds like the ghetto.
You know what? You say that, and I can picture it in Waco.
Man, it sounds like some projects we used to live next to. We used to live next to a place called Stella Maxi.
Oh, yeah.
Shelby Oaks. I don't think about ghosts and demons. I think about Negroes stealing my bike.
Right. It's either an old folks community or some projects, and it sounds more like projects.
Yeah, it sounds like some projects. I'm more scared of people. Them kids coming there and stealing my bike and beating us up. I'll deal with these ghosts. That's fine. Chris Stuckmann, fellow critic, fellow YouTuber. He did the brave thing, man. He said, listen, and very admirable. He said, I have been criticizing other people's works for so long. Let me go out there and see what I can do myself.
Right.
It's only fair.
Put my money where my mouth is.
Exactly. And all that experience talking about other people's movies, whether they be good or bad, well, what did I learn from all this? Let's go ahead and take a look. We'll see what he learned as we talk about his movie, Shelby Oaks. We'll watch the trailer for that, and we'll be back with our reviews after this. Predators in there too, No, what? Seriously, man, listen. I give it to old Stuckmann over here, man, this is the horror movie with everything. If you love horror, there's probably something in here for you, you know, depending on what category you like, because he's put every category in there. Found footage, you know, a haunted forest, demons, demonic possessions, satanic imagery, a house in the woods, ghost towns, abandoned amusement parks, all these creepy areas, creepy dogs, creepy kids, creepy old people. Only thing that's missing is a creepy clown. And I'm sure he was in the background somewhere behind one of them trees looking.
Yeah, am I up yet?
Yeah.
There's just no room for me in this thing.
Yeah, get back. We ain't called you yet. But it is a horror buffet, y'all. And so, listen, I'm not going to even try to be a smartass. I'm not going to try to be, you know, snarky with this, anything like that. It is a horror buffet. It has everything in there, and I think that that's part of the problem with this movie. And I'm going to be as honest with this movie as I would be on something I did. Listen, I made a movie. Not even on the level of Chris Stuckmann. Chris Stuckmann got Mike Flanagan as his producer. You know, I had the great Adam Sear. Y'all ever heard of Adam Sear, man? Producer Adam Sear? Hell no, you haven't heard of him before. Yeah, that's my friend. Has a lot of money to help me make my movie. But I am probably the harshest person on the movie that I've made. I've told y'all, if I had to rate my own movie, just given what I think about today, I personally would give my movie a rental or a high rental. That's just how I feel about it. I think there's just so much for me to improve. So don't think I'm looking at a fellow critic or YouTuber and you know, if I'm harsh on them, I'm trying to criticize probably the most helpful and respectful way. Because I am very proud of Chris Stuckmann and what he's done. That's a very brave thing to do, and it's a very courageous thing to do. It's an honorable thing to do, where you've come out of criticism and then you decide to like put yourself out there. And listen, we all got egos, and you know, don't let anybody tell you they don't. If you're making a movie, you got an ego.
I guess you got to have that. I mean, if you're an artist of any kind, you got to have an ego. That's the only thing that'll push you through.
Yeah, but I'm saying this because he has so much influence in this movie, so many horror standards and tropes. I think it's weighing the movie down because the movie was very slow to me.
Really?
Yeah, I thought, and I think it feels kind of empty in certain areas. I thought, you know, now I'm gonna tell you, because I think like for this film, Chris Stuckmann is mimicking so many of his own influences that, you know, they work strongest when the movie's setting things up, and even then, it's just the Blair Witch Project, complete with stick symbols out there and everything. You know, it's YouTubers instead of documentary filmmakers. But it's still a good mystery at the beginning. I think it's still a good... Now, you know, I'm talking for myself. You know, I feel like it's a good setup. I think it's a good mystery. I think it's, you know, nothing original. I think it's very blatantly Blair Witch. But, you know, it's a good setup. And he has very strong atmosphere in this movie, man. If you ask me what his strongest... What his biggest strength is in the movie, I'm like, man, where did you get these locations? Because they're amazing.
Yeah.
These abandoned houses, a whole abandoned city, an abandoned amusement park. If you got Chris Stuckmann to direct a Silent Hill movie, I think he'd do amazing at it. So I think his setup and I think his locations and his atmosphere, he has that down. You know, but as far as everything else goes, I think that not as strong. Yeah, I don't know, but I remember you came out of it.
Yeah,
you said you liked it.
I had the opposite feeling, and especially to say it was slow. I never felt like it was slow. There was a point in the middle where I thought it slowed down, but then where it comes out right after that, I was like, oh, you had to slow the pace down because all this was going to happen toward the end, and where it really picked up.
Yeah, I wish I.
But you know, as I always say, I am not the horror aficionado as you and some others are.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not even looking at this as a horror movie. You know, there are things that are just basic in films.
Yeah.
No matter what you're working on, pacing, character, you know, story. I think that I don't think that he's writing his own story. I think that I see so many other influences in here, and I think that he is not telling his own story. He's he's kind of putting things that he's learned from watching horror movies and things that he's kind of things that he personally likes. I don't feel his own voice in here. I don't feel a voice in
No,
here.
do you feel like knowing him is influence how you this feeling?
If me knowing him, and that's why this is so awkward, man. Look, we just did this a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
We did the same thing. I'll be goddamn, we here again.
Yeah.
Boy, I better take Zach Kreger's number out of my phone because I'm scared of what I'm gonna think about his movie when it comes out. Did Resident Evil, because we had a personal connection with the Black Phone 2. Not crazy about it, and that was awkward for me. And now, because I want to say nice things about it, I mean, we all know Robert Cargill. See, Robert, you know him as Cargill. He co-wrote the Black Phone, first Black Phone. He works with Scott Derrickson. That was really, I want to see the people I know. I want to see succeed. I don't want to come talk about their movies. And honestly, if we weren't doing this, I wouldn't be saying things like this.
Yeah.
Maybe. If we got deeper to discussion, but. I wouldn't be out there to criticize. I'd be out there to support. So that's why this is an awkward position. So to answer your question, knowing Chris Stuckmann, I think if knowing him was a factor, I'd be finding ways to actually be more positive. I'd be trying to bend backwards to say things. But just me trying to be honest.
Right.
So him, that doesn't play a factor in what I think.
No. Not so much what you think of it overall, but to say that you feel like it's not his voice, because knowing him, you could go okay, he's been a critic, he's watched these things, and that's why he's put this in here. But if you didn't know him, do you think you would think that?
No, because I recognize the influences in here.
Okay.
I recognize Blair Witch.
Okay.
I recognize several demonic possession movies.
Okay, because the whole Blair Witch thing, that seemed very intentional. Yes, I'm taking something like the Blair Witch, but then I'm going to spin this way with it. Like that's just the setup. But here's what happens after that. And that's what the movie is. It's okay, Blair Witch, blah, blah, blah. Blair Witch ends with them facing the wall, but my movie's about what happens after that.
Yeah, I feel like when I say influence, I'm even talking about tropes.
Okay.
When I say you put things in there like the creepy atmosphere and everything like that, I feel like you've seen horror movies, you've seen certain storylines. I would say it's about any director. If I felt like I don't have to know them, I would be like, I recognize that. I feel like you're doing this. That's a trope that we see in everything. Where is your story? And I've said this about directors before. And it's funny enough, we said that kind of about the Black Phone too.
Oh, yeah,
we were saying this is more Nightmare on Elm Street, and while you intentionally meant to channel that, you're not doing anything with it that feels like it's your own. And that's kind of what I feel about this.
Okay.
And again, I really hate to say that, man, because I was excited when you said you liked this.
Yeah.
And don't believe me, I wasn't going in trying to, you didn't get me hyped up or anything. I didn't go in with high expectations or low expectations. I went in just wanting to support, and I went in, of course, saying, let me be prepared to be honest too. Always, if we know somebody that makes a movie, we always have to have that thing where we be prepared to be honest. Yeah. I think like a lot of first time directors, I think there is more emphasis probably on atmosphere, on visuals. I feel like he has another film to go to really learn how to lean into that storytelling.
Yeah.
That from what I see here, I would like to see what he does with another film. This is the first film that you just you broke ground with.
Yeah.
It's not you have there's a lot of flaws. Take the criticism that you're getting if anybody's giving them out there, and then apply that to making a better story next time. I don't think the story here is that great. It's just that's just me. Now I know you enjoyed this more.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Now, again, like with the Black Phone 2, I wonder, how much my proximity to things, throws me off. Before watching it, I didn't really, we had Chris Stuckmann on. I didn't really know him. I got to meet him and talk with him ever so briefly the night before. But being part of the festival, it wasn't man, I'm just enjoying the festival. But it was I'd seen the movies I'd seen up until Shelby Oaks. They weren't that good. And I was already feeling man, I don't know about this year. So this was the first movie I saw that I enjoyed. And it's a thing where my daughter's name is in the credits.
Yeah.
But all that being said, just my genuine, sitting there watching the movie, I I hadn't heard too much about it. I'd heard some reports like, well, it's just all right. I really enjoyed it. It was I love that it took that premise of the Blair Witch, but what happens after that? I dug the atmosphere, but it pulled me along being a thriller, a mystery to crack, rather than I'm just trying to scare you. I'm getting pulled along with that. And while so much of the research stuff, I was like, all right, I don't know how much time I want to spend watch somebody in the library, on a computer looking things up.
Yeah.
And even I had to go, all right, she finds the house. She don't want to wait till the daytime. Like you don't have to do this tonight. But I was like, all right, I get it for the atmosphere. But I love where it ended. I got really juiced by it.
Yeah, one thing I think you shouldn't do, you should probably stop doing is saying, I'm not a hard person. You enjoy what you enjoy. I definitely don't want to come across as some kind of horror snob where it's like, well, you don't understand the mechanics of horror. I don't want to say
but
that.
I accept that, and sometimes that is the case.
Yeah, I don't think that this is. Did Gwenny work on this too?
She didn't work on it, but she was somebody who gave notes, and he was appreciative of the notes. Because they did do reshoots on it. That was one of the things people were like, I don't know, I heard they're doing extensive reshoots. But a lot of that came from, they didn't start with Mike Flanagan as a producer. That came like the movie was more about the found footage stuff. And then Neon got with it and was like, hey, let's put some money in this and let's connect you with Mike Flanagan. And then he came in and said, hey, let's do this and let's reshoot this and let's make this the focus.
Yeah.
And it made it for a better movie.
No, that's cool, man. Dang, I was about to say, your daughter's getting around a lot.
Yeah, she had a good year. It was a good festival.
Yeah. No, you would tell me about how you like this and everything, man, and that was cool. Like I said, you didn't build me up for that. You were talking about stuff that you liked with this. Like you were talking about I heard you talking about how you liked the story and everything. You talked about the scene where they played basketball. You said you liked that, didn't you?
No. You think I can't spot when you're doing this, and I can't.
You do like basketball, though, right?
It's all right.
It's all right. It's just all right.
Yeah, it's just all right.
You know what to make it great?
What's that?
Martin, you put some money on it.
No.
Yeah, Martin. Yeah, Martin. I'm here to talk about our sponsor, DraftKings, man. You put a little something in the game, all of a sudden it gets more
skin in the game.
Got some skin in the game. It gets a little more exciting, and that's what you can do with DraftKings right here. It's the NBA season, man, and all your favorite NBA players are back. And DraftKings Sportsbook, and that's an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Makes the game just a little better.
A little bit, okay.
A little more. Adds a little more suspense.
I can see how that works.
Yes, and here's something that'll make you like it even more. New customers out there. New customers, you bet just $5 and you'll get 3 months of NBA League Pass. Plus, you'll score $300 if your bet wins. Paid and bonus bets right there. Listen, I got a code for you to use for that too. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code TOASTED, TOASTED. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Hey, you bet on double toasted, you always gonna win.
Always bet on black.
Oh,
right?
yeah, you don't get no black in this. Also, check out the disclaimer in the description down there. I want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring this portion of the show. And, we bet on you, we always win because you always support us. Thank you so much. I think that it's the characters I have a problem with.
Yeah?
Here. Yeah, because his characters, I am curious about them, but it's no one I feel like I got to know well, especially the character of Mia. So watching her I mentioned Silent Hill. Watching her, for me, kind of felt like I was watching somebody play Silent Hill, but taking a long time to get to the good parts. I mean, she's walking around with her flashlight in these scary towns, walking to these abandoned places, and just like a video game character, I think a lot of her reactions Because your avatar in a video game, they run into something, they still just standing there. They got no. She just had these calm reactions to the supernatural. She had more reaction to seeing her sister on videotape than she did to seeing the actual creature or something. Again, demonic in front of her. And I think that's because, and this is listen. I've been critical. It's probably where I'm gonna be the harshest.
Okay.
It's where I'm probably gonna use some harsh words. I thought that chick was dumb. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. Again, I'm not trying to come in here and be snarky about your film, Chris. But that character was making a lot of dumb decisions, man. Think about this. She going to this abandoned. First of all, she decided to do this by herself. She could have found somebody to help her out.
Well, it did seem like everybody, that was a big point of the film, is how everybody has abandoned this search. And even her husband is just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
But
or it's more like she was done with him.
She went to an abandoned jail at night by herself. Saw some crazy shit and was like, that's crazy. Let me get out of here. And then went straight to another abandoned place at night. That's what I'm talking about. She saw something supernatural and was just kind of and just kind of ran out, and it wasn't like I'm gonna fuck out of here. My sister, she'll be all right. No, she went to a jail, abandoned jail at night by herself. Why she didn't want to go in the daytime, I don't know. Sees something crazy, has kind of a non-reaction to it, and then goes to an abandoned amusement park at night by herself after knowing that there are evil forces out there. After that, she goes to a strange woman's house, which looks very sinister, by herself. Keep in mind, she's already called the cops.
Right. But the cops aren't doing anything. They aren't taking her seriously. And going to those like the jail and the amusement park, I could see that as, all right, if I go in the day, somebody's going to stop me. If I go at night, I don't have to worry about that. Going to that house at night, I was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
you can wait till the sun comes up to go over there.
This woman is the typical don't do that person to me. What the fuck? And as we like to say, white people shit. Why you going all these places by yourself? I just don't think. See, I understand that we could probably rationalize, why she was doing this, but it seems like, why'd you go there at night? There was no rational reason explained other than it looks creepy at night. And it does. It does that. Like I said, the atmosphere is very creepy at night. But why are you going all these places by yourself, especially when the police is coming? Why are you going deeper and deeper in there? Because they're more atmospheric at night. I don't think that there was a real story reason behind that. And the ending to this movie is really where I just said, all right, I'm done. Because I was like, that's it. First of all, it was telegraphed very early. And then by the time we got to it, like, okay, not only did I know that was coming, but since I knew it was coming, I was sure there had to be more. And then I was like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool. I know you enjoyed it, man. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to contradict you.
No, it's fine.
And I really, man, look, I want to like this movie, man. I do.
I understand.
I want to like it. I want to love it. I want to support it.
I guess like me saying, like, maybe I'm not a horror guy, because this is so often we'll see horror movies where I'm feeling like you, and I'm not saying you specifically, but there's that, like, well, this is what these do, and they're effective, and they scare the audience, and that's why they come out and see them all the time, and I have to just accept that, like, all right, just don't think on that wavelength.
Yeah, but we see these people going and doing these dumb things, and I'm just kind of like, we always call them out. Why you do it? Why you out there in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, I was sold on how driven she was and how she had gone past the point of being rational. Man, especially feeling abandoned, like nobody's listening to me. The police don't care. Everybody's calling my sister saying she's done this as a hoax. I got no support on this, and I know she's out there. And if I don't do something, nobody will.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I get that. I can get. That's the thing. I can get you seeing that. I'm not trying to say that there's not a reason.
No. It didn't. It didn't work for you, and hey, you got my full respect on
No,
that.
you saw. No. I get it. You saw a dedicated, driven person. I saw a fucking idiot. So
They're not mutually exclusive. Like I said, I don't know that I would have been doing that, but also it seemed like it wasn't concrete that it was something supernatural until toward the end.
Man, she saw that big ass devil dog in there. I ain't gonna say where, but there's a dog with glowing eyes, black as tar. Look like a ferocious version of tar, baby.
Yeah,
and then
did I see what I thought?
She saw what she saw because she looked at it. She looked at it for about 5 seconds. It was like, God damn, because she was trying to walk away slow. And then that big ass black man was behind her. So I'm like, okay, that was, listen, it didn't make sense to me. It just didn't. I sincerely feel that first-time director who is making a project, somebody who loves horror, who is very influenced by different things and is regurgitating those influences. I don't think his personal voice is in this yet. And I am looking at people like,
I know everybody can't be Zach Kreger.
Man, I'm sorry, but I mean, listen, and I ain't trying to kiss ass, but if Zach Kreger had done this, I would know that it was a Zach Kreger movie. Whether you like this other director or not, Ari
Aster.
If Ari Aster had made this movie, whether you like it or not,
it's been 3 hours long.
But you would have known it was his. And I would have criticized it being 3 hours long, but you would have known it was his. Even if somebody like Jordan Peele or somebody, I'm talking about directors who have a voice. It might not be perfect, but it's them.
Well, but these are directors not only with a voice, but with infinitely more resources.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. I think that, when you have, I know you hate the Blair Witch Project, but the Blair Witch Project is something that really, it had its moment. You had seen, whether you like it or not, you hadn't seen anything like that before. I can say,
which I was fine with.
But you son of a bitch, I knew you were gonna say something.
You talk about a movie that just went nowhere, but go ahead.
No, I think that there was something original going on with that, and there was a lot of things original going on around it. Again, this is kind of repeating the Blair Witch Project, and not really. I know you say what happens afterwards. I get that. So you say it expands on it. I don't. I think okay, yeah, it shows what happens after the Blair Witch Project, but then it just repeats other horror tropes after that for me. And again, like I said, man, what does it matter? You liked it a lot, and I'm more critical. That's the way it is. It's cool. It's cool. I already feel shitty enough talking, criticizing this, man.
We can't do these anymore.
I know. I feel because I said, man, because I said, listen, just be nice. Be fair with this, and sure enough, I went into and this fucking idiot right here. Always got to be smart ass, man. But I will say this, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be nice. I really am saying that, as a director, you're stronger visually right now, I believe, than you are story wise. But your visuals are very strong. So I think. That happens with first-time directors sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a movie or two to really find his stride with this.
Sure.
That's what I feel right now. I look forward to his next film if he decides to make one.
Oh, well, hopefully so. Yeah, because it is, like, I think with the first one, you're still learning what to do.
That's what it feels like. It feels like somebody who's learning.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like somebody who's learning, but, sometimes you learn because you are copying and mimicking certain things. And,
yeah.
and
it's actually the best way to learn.
Yeah. And, and it's just that he was lucky enough. People sometimes do it with small projects. He was lucky enough to, have a theatrical nationwide distribution on his film and get a big producer behind it. Yeah. And, that's good in the sense that, hey, you got out there, you got your name out there, that's probably helping get another project. Not so good in that you're showing all your flaws out there, on the big screen. I think this was, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens with it. But right now, I would give this I give it a rental. Yeah, I definitely think the pacing is slow enough to where I think I would rather watch this at home. I would recommend people watching at home. It's perfect for watching at home, but I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people. I haven't seen any other reviews, but I have one right in front of me where you did like this. You were the opposite of me. So
yeah. Well, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. Watching it like I did, with the audience. It seemed like everybody was into it. But even outside of everybody else, unlike so many other horror movies where I feel like they're just exploits and spectacles, this had something. A storyline that pulled me along with it, and I appreciated that it has that horror but also thriller vibe to it, and there's a bunch of I mean, look, you bring up some good points about some flaws, and like I say, it's not, and it's not perfect. Like I said, it slowed down for me a lot, and then the stuff with her doing stuff at night, I was like, all right, girl. But outside of that, I really, really enjoyed it, and it was almost like a low full price when I saw it. But I do recognize what's going on, and it's a matinee for me.
All right, well, there you go. Just keep in mind that I do support.
Yeah, very much support. Somebody saying like, instead of criticizing, let me make my own, and I got mad respect for that.
Yeah,
jealousy almost.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, man. Still congratulations. Still, I look forward to the next one. And I hope. Oh shit! I just got a text.
Oh.
Fuck you, bitch. Oh shit.
Wow, you said quite that direct with it, huh?
You know what the hell with you in your movie? No.